to repeat. So if you don't know your history, you'll go thinking that Mr. Obama's a fluke. A black man with a PhD from Harvard? Well, in 1895, W.E.B. Du Bois got the same degree, and that's 100 years ago. But if you don't know it, you'll think the president's a fluke. Oh, black man's brain's not big enough for that. If you don't know your history, you'll be all wrapped up in Tiger Woods' little penis. Now, when did we care who Tiger Woods was screwing? Tiger Woods been around a while. Ain't nobody ever cared about his screwing nobody. Only reason I was even interested in the story is he screwed 14 women, and none of them was black. You tell me it's not one sister good enough to fuck this bug-looking son of a bitch. Is that what you're saying to me? Is that the message? Because I ain't feeling that one. So Tiger Woods, in the report card for black men, he get a D minus. But if you're doing the report card for our history, the brother gets an A, and you have to understand he was a little boy that walked into a game that we weren't even invited into and played so good they had to change the rules so the other fellas could catch up. If you forget your history, you'll forget about Serena and Venus, who's so good they have to play each other every month to find out who the best in the world is. So if you forget about your history, you might forget about Tyler Perry, who 8.5 years ago was sleeping in his car, and now he's rich enough to pee cream. And if you forget your history, you might forget where the color of your skin come from. Well, you could spin that globe all day long, and you ain't gonna find nobody of this color in Italy. It don't come like this in Russia. It ain't like that in even Ireland. No. Africa is where this color comes from. And if you really know your history, then you know what else comes from Africa. Kings, queens, all the diamonds, all the gold, all the silver, all the precious land. That's why, I always tell a story, like, I don't like to do, talk about, well, especially use the N-word when we get company. White folks, they'll sneak in to try to learn about our culture. And I don't like to use the word around them because they might think it's okay. You know what I'm saying? They hear you, and this, and that, all of a sudden, oh, gee, that's my nigga. Then you got to talk about it. You got to talk about it. Okay, so I don't like to use around them. But when you think about this, black people were not the first slaves in America. The first slaves in America was the Americans. Yes, we call them Indians because some confused-ass white boy named Christopher Columbus got lost. His retarded ass thought he was in India, so he changed the whole people's title because his ass was lost. Okay? So now, the American Indians, who are the true Americans, are treated worse than any American here. Yet all the rest of us and everybody else, are immigrants. Yet there we are standing at the borders right now, fighting people and telling them they can't come into a country which was established because we want to get away from tyranny and have freedom. But here we are standing at the border saying they can't come. All that's that bullshit they perpetrate against us if we fall for the yayo. But we ain't going for that. We're wiser than that. We're paying attention. And now Mr. Obama's in there. And like I say, they're trying to blame him for all kind of stuff. So we need somebody on the other side to go rah, rah, rah. Let me tell you something. And I ain't going to say this again in public because I'm really frightened about this. But this is serious. The greatest accomplishment so far that Mr. Obama has made is that he's still alive. Trust me. In this country, they got about 9,000 ways they can kill your ass and make it look like you did it, okay? So the fact that he's still here is beautiful. My documentary comes out towards the end of November about the president. It's called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the White House. I knocked on the door, and a brother answered. And in that, we'll get a chance. And it's really a very biased documentary. Okay, it really is. If you don't love the president, if you don't love Mr. Obama, you can't even be on my documentary, and fuck you. Okay? It is a love letter to this man, but is he perfect? No, and that's not what I'm trying to say. We're not trying to pass him off as perfect, yo. In fact, he got some things I need him to change. I need him to do something specifically for black people. And he hasn't done that yet. And it's in my documentary. He has to do it. He even made a statement once that he didn't feel that it was his obligation to do stuff for black people just because he's black, and that's not true. He does have that obligation. He got in office just because all these black people who never voted in their lives, came out and voted for him. He got in the office so people who wouldn't spend $1 to help the homeless spent 10 and 15 and nickels and quarters to get him in. We didn't get him in so we have somebody look like us, wave and shit. Hey, I'm here. No. We got someone who's also do for us. Now, if he wasn't doing for nobody else, we wouldn't have to ask him to do for us. But he's standing trying to help with that border situation. He's standing tall for gay rights. He's fighting that don't ask, don't tell thing. He's standing tall for the damn white banks. We bailed them out with our money. And they didn't use that money to give loans down to people. They unilaterally paid each other bonuses. So if you can help those specialized groups, you certainly can help your own group. There are people who are so unwise that they're saying, well, he's just waiting for the second term. Let me tell you this. If he don't help black people this term, I guarantee you, he won't see a second term. That ain't gonna happen, okay? But what happened was a lot of people on computers, a lot of nerds and the kids and stuff, they saw hope, they saw joy, they voted. But once it became a real battle, and that's what it became once he got in office, all them people sort of disappeared. They had some sisters stood up who had the nerve, the gall, and the motherfucking audacity to say, I am just exhausted trying to defend my president. And I wish I was there so I could stand up and say, then bitch, sit down, okay? Because I'm not exhausted. I'm not going to get exhausted. I won't be exhausted till 10 minutes after he's out of office. You hear me? I'm going to be defending him every chance I get because I tell you what, the people tearing him up ain't exhausted. They not even tired. They going out their way with all kind of crazy stuff. Somebody yelled, called him a liar. You couldn't even do that with a white standing president. You couldn't do that with a white president. There ain't no way in hell you can get away with it. If he was white, there was no way they could have did that article on the front of the New Yorker where there's a monkey on the ground, a police shooting, that's what it represents. They would shut that magazine down that afternoon. But because he's black, they let that kind of stuff slide. That kind of thing that you could do nowhere else. That's why I love him. I love him because they can't hurt him, and they done done everything. They done tried everything they can, and he stands tall, and he said, this is what I'm going to do, that's what I'm going to do, and he makes it happen, yo. If you look at the real record and don't get blinded by all the rhetoric, all these way left guys, way right guys who want to say he ain't this and he ain't that, ignore that. Look at what he's really doing. Our president is doing everything he said he's going to do, and he ain't back down from nobody yet. And everybody's trying to get him to, and he still, and he looks so good doing it. Don't he look good? Women love this president. I come home one day, my wife is laying in the bed, butt naked, watching Mr. Obama. I said, baby, what are you talking about? She said, I don't know, I turn the sound down. So, all right, I'm not going to try y'all up much longer. Where's Bruce? Honey, anything I should be doing I'm forgetting? Because, you know, we just any of the pieces, we had so much stuff. Yeah. I can do jokes. Yes, that's how I'll do it. I want to go out with 10 jokes. That's a damn fine joke. Huh? I don't have it with me. I don't have it, baby. I might have a copy in the car. You want to go check? It'll be the car sitting right there on the side, and it's right inside my calendar. I have a poem. 2 poems are going to be in the documentary about the president. The first one y'all heard already, which is called My Mama Likes Obama. But I have a new one that's called Everything Obama's Fault. I mean, they blame him for everything. It is so funny. You know, anyway, if we said, baby, we don't have time for that. These people got places going people to do. Plus, we said we can try to be out of here by 6:30, baby. It's 6:35. So I'm just going to do a series of jokes. And then we'll give away the CDs and we out of here. Oh, shit, baby. That's what we were supposed to be here to talk about. Duh. Can you give me one? Give me one? Not turn the lights. Just give me one. I want to talk about it for a minute. Thanks. So, all right. Here's why we had y'all here, really. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. The whole reason we did this is to sort of have a release party, although we did release this August 3rd. So August 3rd, we released it on iTunes. So you can get it at iTunes for $11.99. You can get it at Amazon, or you can get it at Best Buy. Best Buy, $13.99 plus tax, or you can get it from me out the trunk of my car for $10. Okay. Now, everybody bought tickets tonight, you'll get your copy, but I am telling you, it is a really outstanding CD. I'm not saying it because it's mine. I'm saying it because I've waited for people to tell me, you know, and I tried to do it different than any comedy album in that I did not do any routine. I did it Red Fox style, where all I did is jokes. So just every 7 jokes, I slide in a hip-hop act that y'all haven't heard of. That's why they're called The Great Unknowns. The album is called Michael Collier's Greatest Hits, which I think is funny because I ain't never had an album. How the hell can I have a greatest hits anyway? So it's Michael Collier's Greatest Hits and The Great Unknowns. Now, 3 of them you never heard of. 2 of them you have. You've heard of MC Breed? Anybody? Yeah. No Frontin' in Your Future? Yeah. He transcended September 22nd of '08, but his wife gave me a cut to put on him. He and she always wanted to have a release called Pop My Collar. You got, DJ, I need you now. Pop My Collar? Can you play a little Pop My Collar? And that's a tribute to him and to artists who has fallen and transcended. There's another group that's called MJG and 8 Ball. Y'all heard of them? Yeah. Them Tennessee Pimps. I got them on there just cause they are the shit. And then, track 31, I'm doing my first rap ever. And I ain't about to get into the rap game, forget about that. But I did a rap called Who's the King? Funny story I gotta tell you about that. Okay. Who's the King? I'll tell this story. In Who's the King, I'm sort of asking the question, the general question I think everybody wants to know, is if the guys who call themselves the kings of comedy, what happened to Richard Pryor? What happened to Eddie Murphy? What happened to Michael motherfucking Kyle? I've done every form of comedy there is. I didn't get a vote. Okay, so we did, on here I did the tongue-in-cheek, Who's the King, right? Then I shot the video, which we was down here trying to show y'all tonight, but we never got the camera. But if you go home and go on YouTube, put in Michael Collier, Who's the King, you'll see my first rap video. It's tacky. It's terrible. It looked like we made it for $23. My lips don't even move with words. But it's funny as hell. It's funny as hell. Okay. But listen, so as soon as I get the job, I'm telling the story. You can't go back and tell them that I told you. I won't tell. All right. So as soon as I got the new job, y'all, doing the play, I get the call from the producer, and they say, get up off Steve Harvey. What you mean? I ain't said nothing about no Steve Harvey. What do you mean? But because he's one of the guys, probably the loudest, calling himself a king of comedy, they like, get up off Steve Harvey. Now, I do understand it. We're doing a black play. Black plays, they depend on black radio to get y'all in there. So you don't want to go sticking the lion, poking the lion with a stick. That don't make a lot of sense. And Steve Harvey's in 48 markets, so I understood it. But like I told them, my stuff is already out there. You can't squeeze toothpaste back in the tube. It's out there. Now, I won't stir up no stuff about it, but it's already out there, and it's fly, and it didn't even say his name. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, I'm in Hartford, Connecticut. And I buy this suit that I'm wearing, which is a fabulous suit, 100% silk, and it feels good. Now, I want to tell y'all something about dressing. A lot of y'all under the impression that I dress for y'all. I'm not dressing for you, motherfucker. I'm dressing for me, okay? Because people come up and sometimes they say stuff about what I'm wearing as though I should have wore it differently. I don't ever get up and put on my shit and say, oh, I wonder what they think. Hell no! I look at me more than y'all look at me. I'm looking at me all day long. So when I get in the mirror, I'm trying to see what it looks good. Y'all should see my drawers. They fabulous! But I didn't put them on for y'all. I put stuff on to see how it feels with me. My shirt, that's that Egyptian cotton. I know you had. I didn't even know niggas grew cotton in Egypt. Anyway, that's that Egyptian cotton. I'm not wearing that because you can tell what the fabric is back there. You don't know what it is back there. It's just a white shirt. I'm wearing it because it lays on my body and caresses me and makes me feel good.